Welcome kindergarten and first grade teachers. Let's begin part 1, section level planning. You will be using this template to support you with unpacking the unit one section at a time. The first step is to independently read or scan the narrative, learning goals, and checkpoint for the first section only. You want to spend about 3 to 5 minutes doing that. To support you with this, we've included the text for the narrative, the learning goals, and the checkpoint right in your slide deck. The next step is for you to collaborate with your colleagues. You're going to be in breakout groups. One of you should share your screen and help everyone navigate the LearnZillion website. You can also use your TE, and you're going to complete each section of the template below. You want to spend about 15 minutes doing this. So essentially what you want to do is to get an at-a-glance view of each lesson in that section. You're going to start with the first lesson. You're going to find the teacher-facing learning goal, how the learning goals are being assessed, and that includes the checklist item or the cool down, and then also the lesson synthesis. And for each lesson synthesis, there's a stimulus, a prompt, and a desired response. So let's look at where you find that on LearnZillion. First, I'm going to select my grade level. I'm going to select kindergarten for today's example, and we're doing Unit 3. And then I'm looking at Section A. I'm going to go right down to Lesson 1, what we know about shapes. Now I'm going to go back to my template. So I know I'm in Lesson 1, and now I need to look for the teacher-facing learning goal. Each lesson has different learning goals. To see these, I can look in the About This Lesson section and scroll down to the learning goals. This is the teacher-facing learning goal. That's the one I'm going to use. And I'm going to put it in the template so that I can discuss it with my colleagues. You can format it as needed so that it fits in to your template. This other learning goal is a student-facing one. This is the one you will share with your students. Now, I'm going to look for how this learning goal is being assessed in that lesson. So to do that, I'm going to look at the cool down. And I need to click on lesson plan to find it. Once I'm in the lesson plan again, I can click on this little caret and scroll down all the way down to where it says cool down. And I can see here that it's the Section A checkpoint. In other words, it's the checklist. And this is the actual item that I'm looking for. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it in my template so that I can discuss it with my colleagues. So I'm looking for students using informal language to describe shapes in this particular lesson. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to look for my lesson synthesis. I will click on the little caret again and scroll down to where it says lesson synthesis. You want to take about 5 minutes to do this in your lesson. It tells you here. Most of the time it's about 10 minutes. And as I mentioned earlier, there's always a stimulus. I'm going to use Command-Shift-4 to take a quick snapshot of this. If you're using a PC, you want to probably look for some kind of snipping tool to do this. But if you're a Mac user, it's Command-Shift-4. Just take a picture of that and drop it right into here so I can get an idea of what the stimulus is going to be. And in addition to a stimulus, there's always a prompt. And I can see it here in quotation marks. And those are the actual words of what I'm going to say, or something similar to that, to prompt students' thinking. And there's always a desired response. So what are you looking for students to say? So here I'm done with lesson 1, and I can get an at-a-glance view of what the goal of this lesson is, how it's being assessed, and what I will want to hear from my students to make sure that I know that they got the point of the lesson. You want to do that for all the lessons in the section, however many lessons there are, and look at the flow of the lessons so that in the end, you can answer this prompt: how is the section unfolding? Again, it's not about finishing everything. It's about getting an idea of what that section is trying to accomplish for your students. And more importantly, when and how are the lesson learning goals being assessed? So if you're able to finish enough of these to have that conversation with your colleagues, then that will support your unpacking of the unit. When you're done with section A, we're going to debrief, and then you will go back into your breakout groups and continue with the remaining sections.